SmashFactor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. Man, that is beyond long.
Look at this. He's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome, everybody, to a very special 100th episode of the SmashFactor, the 2020 Honda Classic. As always, Gup here. This one's special on many levels. Obviously, thank you guys for supporting Gup's Corner and the Smash for 100 episodes. It is also Honda Classic Week, which, as we've come to know over the last 3 or 4 years, that is the week that Gup's Corner heads down to the tournament. OG has hosted us the last few years, but this year it's blown up even more. And we have our own house this year right next to the course. I think we're about 3 or 4 miles away. And then next, the DFS Open, making its debut this year with Ryan and Joe putting on great work for a great cause, the First Tee. We are the lead sponsor of the event, so we're looking forward to that entire weekend. Raising a lot of money for that foundation and meeting everybody in the industry. So many guys are going to be there. Over 100 guys playing golf on Saturday. We're going to have a big kickoff gathering Friday night. So that'll be awesome. And this is also the first year that Mrs. Gup, my wife, is flying in as well. Nice. I leave tomorrow afternoon, but she will come back Friday afternoon. So she's going to get to meet a lot of the teams she hasn't met. And then the most important reason this is special is coming back for the first time in many, many moons is my brother, my one and only Bucks. Bucks, how are you doing tonight?
Awesome, man. Again, I like how you mentioned that the number one reason, Bucks, not your wife, me. I'm doing awesome, man. Yeah, it's life's been good. Life's been crazy, but wouldn't have it any other way. So I am super pumped, as you can tell from my attire, to make my way down to Florida a little later this week, hang out with the crew, get to meet everybody at the DFS Open, meet all the legends in the DFS community that I've spent the last few years getting to know. So it's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait to get down there and play some golf.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. So many of us have met each other and many of us haven't, but within our Gups Corner team, we've several of us have met each other. And so it's kind of a reunion deal. And then there's half the team that's come on in the last 6 to 8 months that nobody's met. And so I'm looking forward to seeing them. And then, we've met some of the guys that have been down there, Baroff, Feinberg, stuff like that. Yeah. But looking forward to meeting Mayo, Raza, Rick, many others are going to be there from the industry. That's really cool to kind of see it actually come together. And then most importantly, at the end of the day, all the money's going to a great cause, that we all support. So that it's going to be a great time. Looking forward to it. We're going to kick off just a quick rewind, maybe not quick. It was a great tournament, actually. I didn't get to see most of it because I was sitting in a conference room for 42 hours from Friday to Sunday, but I did watch some replay of the WGC Mexico. Bucks, what are your takeaways? I know you had some major sweat coming down the stretch. Other than the personal heartbreak, what do you think of the overall tournament, the storylines, and such as that?
Yeah, I mean, the tournament being a solid field, no cut, is awesome in itself, but also the course is awesome, man. Such a great golf course for a WGC because so many things can happen. You saw Rahm shoot 61. Bryson was on fire yesterday for a while. It's just one of those courses where if you are playing well, it is super gettable. As long as the wind is down, like you can go after this golf course. But if you are not keeping it within the tree line, it will tear you apart. And so we saw that a couple times this past week where you had guys. JT yesterday had a couple errant drives, cost him big. Bryson had a couple double bogeys over the last few days that cost him big. He seemed to be on fire. One bad swing will cost a couple strokes every time there. So overall, it was a great event. I did have a decent sized Bryson ticket that I was sweating. I had, I think, $350 I laid on him, 200 initially, and then 150 at the halfway mark. When his odds went from like, I think 33 down to 25. So I rebet him. I also had him and Casey top 20. So, I mean, overall, my week was covered just from the top 20 bets. I had 400 on Casey to top 20 and then 500 on Bryson to top 20. So they paid for the week, but it should have been a lot better. Anybody but Reed, and I was going to be stoked. So how was your week?
My main site DraftKings was really close to my worst of the year. Ironically, I made a move late Wednesday night off of the combo, and J-Mac knows this. I talked to him about it. I can't wait to see him this weekend. Off my combo I pivoted off of was Bryson and Reed. So
that's a pretty bad swap.
Yeah. When you start analyzing,
why haven't you learned? You don't swap. You just add another lineup, dude.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't even finish building. I was still building my original 3. So it wasn't like I tinkered. It was like it was like a 2v2, and it was like Bryson Reed, or I think it was Matsu Bubba or something like that. And obviously I went the way wrong direction because that could have been nice. But, I was talking to a guy last night. He goes, "Are you pissed?" I said, "Not really. Worst DK week main slate." But ironically, I tripled up yesterday in round 4. I had Bryson and Matsu, which most people didn't. Everybody went JT, Rom, Rory, some of that mixture.
Well, you started the week off cold. So it was good to see you heat up yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't have Reed, so it could have been a little bit better, but I still didn't make all my money back by any means. I got about half of my in back, so I was in for about 2,000 all in on the week. I made about 1,100 back, so lost 45%. But last night I was talking to a guy in Slack, and he was asking, does that piss you off? I said, not really, because it actually gives me, glass half empty, glass half full type of guy. I was like, at least I was really close to the right guys at the end of the process. Like I just made one 2v2. Like if Bryson and Reed would have been like my fades of the week, then I've been like, man, I'm really like, where am I questioning myself? But I don't build a lot of lineups. I'm like you. I did 3 on the week. If I'd have had 20, I'd had plenty of Bryson and Reed. But that's a if it coulda, woulda, shoulda type of deal. But in the way I build, I was fine with the process. It sucks, but one of the weeks I'm going to make the right 2v2, and it's going to pay off big. So I didn't mind it. Betting started off as well documented by certain people in the community, not our community. Very
ice
suspect. Yeah, I think I was 1-6-2 or something at one point. Ironically, after someone posted something, I went like 6-2 Sunday in full tournament, and so an 8-10-1 week, which doesn't sound great, but considering the way I started, I'll take it. Overall losing.
But in general, though, as a sports bettor, and I'm new to it, I just started a couple weeks ago, like actually having an account. As a sports bettor, if you are elite, what's your win percentage?
The best of the best, and I've talked to many of them, $1 million players in Vegas. The best of the best shoot for 58%.
And I would say that is crazy high.
58% on matchups or like NFL lines, NBA, like true straight betting, not outrights or anything. Just that 53.8 is kind of your goal number. 55, you're having a really, really, really good betting year. No matter who you are, no matter what you're betting, that's good.
And if you are ending up the year at 55%,
you're one of the top 5% bettors in the world.
Even that guy. Yeah, even that guy, though, at 55% doesn't mean every week he's 55%. There's going to be weeks that he's 100%. There's going to be weeks he's 0%. And so it's just an ebb and a flow that comes back out to the median.
Absolutely. I do think I'm changing a little bit because the amount of volume I put in on matchups and 3 balls, let's say I average 14 to 18 units a week because I have a lot of 1-star. I think I'm going to kick back on the volume a little bit and either go one or two ways, have some higher, like take my best of the best plays and do 1 or 2 a day, or increase my outrights pool. It doesn't mean I'm going to go more players, but I may make my wages a bit bigger because I hit those at a better clip, as documented for 4 years now.
Yeah.
That I would rather take the 1 out of every 5 or 6 winners I hit and get 3 times more the money than bet 19 matchups every week, because as well as anybody, it's one thing you taught me, as well as some of the other guys, is that, and me myself learning how to play it really well now, the game of golf, is the 1 round, volatility in golf is insane. So to try to pick a matchup as much as you may have one is extremely hard. The tournaments are a little bit different tournament matchups, but it's still hard. Yeah. And I would rather take that money and do a little more, like you said, that's a great point. Top 10, top 5s, maybe take my outrights from 1.5 units total to 3 units total. And if I hit one, it sets me up for a while instead of doing this matchups every night. Because what's really overtaking the matchups for me is doing showdown. I'd rather put more money in showdown than worry about a matchup bet. Because I feel like I have a better chance there with everything given. But it was okay week overall. I lost, but I'm ready for the Honda. Traditionally, I've done okay. Last year, I got absolutely smoked here. I know we'll get into it in the whole details, but first, as always, our 2020 site sponsor for Gup's Corner, Super Draft. They went big last week. Good turnout. You guys helped out a lot. You'll find out at the end of the pod if you have deposited or you do deposit in Super Draft. It's going to get you an entry into our $1,000 giveaway that'll happen live Wednesday night on the E9 with Bucks, Tambo. Oh, no, Bucks won't be there. He may come in live. He can come in live if he wants. But anybody who's there at the house Wednesday night, we're going to go live.
I will not be coming live.
No, you won't be at the house. Yeah, you come Thursday. I forgot about that. $10 gets you, or with the code GUP, you get $10 bonus dollars. If you deposit $10, that gets you $20 in play. Whatever you put in play and win, you can immediately withdraw if you want to. There's no rollover, no bonus, tricky stuff. It's literally, if you put $20 in and you win 100, you can pull it out if you want. They don't care. But they trust that you'll enjoy the game structure enough that you'll come back. D-Rock is killing the articles there. You can go check it out. It's fully integrated into our PGA Research Center as well. So best time to do it is now. Get you another entry into a $1,000 potential giveaway Wednesday. Again, use the code GUP. You can go to gupscorner.com affiliates for more information on that if you want. This week only, it already went live. If you listen to the PGA Research Center, the tools update version 2 I did last week, DFS Open gets you 30% off. That's this week only. Sunday night, it'll go away. That's off of any package you want. So if you've been on the fence forever, this is your week to get in. All of us are going to be live on grounds. I will be there Wednesday, walking the course, as well as JB, Tambo, and many others. Every night we'll be there. You can't ask for a better opportunity to get in now, and it's our best discount we give all year, with maybe the exceptions of the Masters. And I think that may be the same we do for the Masters. So really, I wouldn't even wait. You can get in now, 30% off. As I mentioned, huge giveaways this week, $1,000 worth of money, DFS money, and prizes. I will give the details out in my final thoughts tonight, so stay tuned for that. Last week's Listener League winner was a special winner, Mr. Will Brinson from CBS Sports. I've been on his pod. He does a great job. Pick Six Pod, I believe it's his podcast. If I mess it up, he's texting me now, so he'll probably slay me. But absolutely curb stomped the field this week. Yeah, it is Pick Six. I got it right. Man, now he'll play golf with me again. Great guy. Go follow him. If you don't already, he's got 1,000, 20, 40, 80. I think he's got 80,000 followers now. But good friend of mine, good friend of the community. 631. I think he beat the Gup's Corner field by like 40. I gave him shit for all the contests he would have won if he had put his lineup in. He didn't even put it in the $10. I said, that's a big no-no. I said, Bucks heard that. He'd get on you. Every lineup's at least got to go into the $5, $10, no matter what you do.
Every single lineup.
But and you look at the lineup and it's pretty, you would read it and feel like it's pretty chalky, but it hit, right? Rahm, Bryson, Reed, Binion, who made a hell of a comeback on Sunday for him, Hatton, who was solid all week, and then Scotty Scheffler. I mean, going into the week, it was a fairly – Bryson and Reed weren't as high, but he faded, JT, DJ, Rory, and, that kind of – you make those bold stands. You don't have to be cute elsewhere because you've already pivoted off a lot of the ownership. So excellent week for him. I know he's been new into DFS golf, and I asked him, I said, how's it compare to any other DFS sport, especially football, because he's a big football guy, and that's his background. And that's what his podcast is all about on CBS Sports. He's a senior writer for CBS Sports on football, and he goes, nothing's even close. You get the best fantasy sweat, bar none, that he has. And we've said that forever, but it's glad to hear. It's nice to hear a football, true and true. He reports on it. His podcasts are on it. He's one of the highest up at CBS Sports to say that as well, that how much enjoyment you get out of playing DFS golf. So congrats to him. I already told him that I give him shit, this evening about how much money he could have won, even if he put a little in the small ones. Doesn't matter the bankroll, but I told him, hey, stick to your bankroll, do what you got to do. Good to see him get some money. He'll be back this week and at it. For once, I don't have to fake my way through a course preview because we get the OG of the course preview back. Bucks, take it over and tell us all about the Honda.
Yes. Yeah, it's we go from last week where you can get in trouble, but we saw how many birdies you can make, to a course that average winning scores 9 under. The average cut lines +4. We're playing PGA National, by the way, championship course. Par 70, 7,200 yards or so. TIFF Eagle Bermuda greens, around 65 to 7,000 square feet, which is just about tour average, a little bit bigger than tour average. Fairways are narrow, especially the further off the tee you get. It is a Jack Nicklaus design. It's been through a couple of redesigns over the last few years, over the last 10 years, let's put it that way. But it's a difficult golf course. You have water on 17 holes. Really, though, 15 of those 18 holes, it comes into play. And so you can get into trouble in a hurry here. The rough here is thick, typically like 2.5, 3.25 inches, depending on the year. Fairways on average are like 24, 25 yards wide, which is narrow. But again, that narrow is a little closer or a little further off the tee. The big thing to note here is the bear trap. This is what this golf course is known for. And it's 15, 16, and 17. 18 is a par 5 that's a scoring hole, but the bear trap is 15, 16, 17. What's really interesting, here's a couple quotes. And if you have read the write-ups before, I included them in there. But you have a quote from Jack Nicklaus that says, it's not about length, it's about precision, it's about guts. You have a quote from Rory McIlroy that says, brutal. You have a quote from Keegan Bradley, which is not surprising. He probably says this about every course, but he said this is scary. And then Ryan Palmer, who actually played well here last year, you just try and survive on those 3 holes. And he is not kidding. When you look at the bear trap in itself since 2007, the bear trap has been played in 3,300 over par, the bear trap, since 2007. Since 2007, the entire rest of the golf course, the other 15 holes, have been played in 4,400 over par. And so almost 40% of the bogeys, the over par scores, comes from those 3 holes compared to the entire golf course. So those 3 holes are a ton of excitement. Sunday, anything can happen. If you play those 3 holes and even par, you are making up ground on the field for sure. Last thing to note about the bear trap, 76% of players at some point in time during the event hit a ball into the water during the bear trap. So all in all, really great golf course. A lot of interesting features, but it can be a bear, especially if the wind kicks up.
Yeah, and last year we were following Palmer right out the gate because we kind of eyed him that morning. Yeah. He didn't have a good tournament. Well, good enough, but he was one of the first 2 or 3 groups, and we knew the wind was going to pick up. And I was like, man, Palmer, West Side, but we're like, shit. I mean, even if he goes ham, can he get up in the deal? But he birdies 1, birdies 2, and we're sitting on 3 green, hungover, double fisting, and I was like, if he sticks this one, we need to get on the live bet because now he's almost made half up, and we're going to be 20 seconds ahead. Let's do the best we can. And he sticks it. he sticks it. And OG, I mean, who's not technical savvy, he'll tell you his thumbs are moving as fast as he gets the bet in at like 500 to 1. And my stupid ass internet wouldn't work. So I'm like, oh, and by the time mine refreshed and got in, I got it at 300. And then we walked the entire rest of the course with them. And we get to like 6, and he was still doing well. And he walks right by us, and we're hollering at him. He looks at us like, man, little hair of the dog, boys. And we're like, yes, sir. And he said, come on, let's go. And we just kept following him, and he just grinded his ass off. And I think I saw a deal earlier, and he's the most water balls. But I've mentioned it many times this year, and it's held true so far. This is a different Ryan Palmer, and I still believe that because, and you probably know this being very competitive in golf. What that win with Rahm last year did for him for 2 years, and that stress removal, I think allows him just to be himself out there. He doesn't have to overthink anything. And I love him this week. And the throw is 66 to 1 out there, which I think that's what I nailed this morning. There's my free bet already. I'll give you 2, that and Varner. And we know Varner.
Palmer?
Palmer was 66 to 1. So I'm on him.
Palmer and Varner. Okay, good. We're both
Palmer and Varner. But if the win comes to fruition like it kind of looks like, it's not like crazy yet, but it's going to be windy enough. But what it's going to be out there windy is like a calm day in West Texas. So it's not really going to bother Palmer enough. But he has that grinded out mentality, kind of like a Ryan Armour, a Jim Furyk, those guys that just do enough. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but guys like that know they can't get to 22 under, when they come to a tournament like this and go 8 under may win this thing, do you think that sets them up at a better mentality going into the tournament?
100%. 100%, dude. When you get to a golf course, and again, saying I've played professionally is a very big stretch. I've played really halfway decent on the Pro-Am circuit.
I've seen you hit a flop shot out of the mud on the back of basically 12 Augusta-like course at Blue Jack with a pint of Tito's in you already to about 4 feet. So I'd say you got a pretty good handle on the game.
Yeah, but I missed that putt, which is why I'm sitting here now. And no, but when you're playing a golf course that that, and I'm not saying it is here depending on the wind, but if you going in thinking 8 under is the winning score, and they're probably not doing that on Thursday because they got to get up and get going quick.
Sure.
But let's just say they think 8 under to 10 under is the winning score. And so 2 under a day and you're rolling, you're going to make the cut for sure. Put it this way, a lot of those guys, making the cut is number one priority. Yes, they want to win, making the cut's priority, getting paid's priority. If the cut is on average 4 over, their mindset is not, I need to go birdie, 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 birdie. Like when you're playing the WGC last week, if you came out and were 1 under through 3, you're getting lapped. And so you came out having to go low to get paid. When you're at a golf course like that, the mindset is completely different. Yes, you want to go low, but the number one priority is not making a big mistake. And so it really helps, and I'm glad you mentioned it. I think it really helps the guys that have won before. And again, we've seen a lot of like new winners here, and we see a lot of new faces here anyways. I know you're going to touch on that, but in general, if you have a guy that doesn't have that pressure on him, like a Ryan Palmer, what that win did for him, John Rahm as well. Imagine if you are let's say working at a restaurant, working a minimum wage job, right? And you're living paycheck to paycheck, then all of a sudden you win $150,000 on DK. Yes, you're not set up for life, but your stress level is golden for a while. And so the same thing for these guys. Like, and again, Ryan Palmer, John Rahm are different. Like, they're making money, but your stress level goes away. You're able to play a little more freely in general. But at this golf course, the mindset's completely different because it's not like a birdie barrage. You're trying to make par and then make the most of the opportunities you're given. But most of the time, and we saw it with the bear trap, if you play that bear trap even par for the entire week, you are likely going to be in contention on Sunday.
Oh, and I mean, I know you said they don't go in Thursday thinking about winning, but you certainly,
well, they do.
Yeah, they do, but you're not going to win the tournament on Thursday, but you can damn sure lose it. But, here, if you start out bogey, like you're like, just keep grinding because it's going to be a +3, +4 type cut number. Whereas, like you said, like Phoenix or one of these, you could be 4 shots back of the field in a heartbeat, or yeah. So I think some of those guys that do, struggle at times to grind it out, or get a big number but can grind back in, like a Benyon or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hurt them as much there, and it really. I mean, I read my first model today, and I almost redid it because it was like it doesn't look like the rankings in DraftKings. But I was like, wait a second. I was like, but these guys are the guys that I would think could fit this place pretty well. Yep. It doesn't mean they're going to win it, but historically, and now we got T65 in ties, which last year I went back and looked. There was an MDF last year, and we had like 82 guys. Not going to be in the MDF this year. You could see 2 or 3%, 6-6 easy. I mean, really easy. So
if you get a couple of if you get a couple 8,500 to 9,500 guys that miss the cut, you'll see a super low number.
And the only reason why I said that, and you talk about, is not only the golfer's mentality, because that matters this week, but your mentality as a DFS player this week doesn't have to be, I got to have the nuts, or I have to have it's got to be build a solid lineup, be a little unique, take some risk this week, because some stuff's not going to look really easy to go to, especially with this field coming off of WGC, especially because
the field is weak. You're not going to have you will not have a prototypical stacked lineup where all the names and it looks sexy. It's not going to be that way this week.
And I think you said it last year that I think Ricky's the only one that shot double digits under. Well, I got it right here. So it's played here since 2007.
Yeah, Ricky.
1, 2, 3 times since 2007. Ricky being the last time, 2017, Rory in 2012, and then Camilo Villegas in 2010 are the only 3 that have ever shot double digits and won this since it moved to this course in 27. So, and it's had 5 playoffs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 one-stroke wins. So it's a very tight, grinded out type tournament.
What do you think the winning scores this week? I mean, the weather is going to be mid 60s, upper 60s the first 3 or 4 days.
Cold morning, cold morning, potential win. First round.
Is it going to be
Thursday? Thursday looks potential gust at like 15 to 20. I think the weekend will be fine, but like you said, you got to get through the cut first. It's nothing unusual there. We'll see the gust numbers once we get closer. I'll wait till Wednesday to see that, especially because I'll be on the course, so I can tell you instead of guessing. But I think it's going to be one of those years that's 7 or 8 under. I really don't see anybody running away with it, especially because the field, just by nature, the talent level of the field isn't as strong as it has been. JT's not playing his first time in I don't know how long. I hadn't seen him play this course. Obviously Tiger didn't play. He's only played it once, which happened to be 2 years ago when we were there. Brooks is Ricky is Fleetwood is, which we'll talk about in a second. So I don't think it gets to double digits personally, not right now.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything definitive on the wind. If the wind is going to be down, I think they get to 12 again this year. But if it is gusting, even mediocre, this course has plenty of trouble. It's going to be a hard time for these guys to get to double digits.
Absolutely. Which brings us right into the stats this week. I'll get yours in a second, but I mean, pretty similar. I did, with our PGA Research Center, we have a little more advanced stats, so I was able to pull some things in this year that I couldn't in the past. But fairways gained, bogey avoidance, around the green, ball striking. This is one of those tournaments I do bring in tee to green. I'm not a big tee to green guy because I'm like, well, that's kind of everything, and I look at that more in the recent form and course history. But you kind of want to just say an all-around good player, so I brought that in. And then I looked at the short game component, but when I looked at the short game component in the PGA Research Center, you're allowed to, instead of a global field, I did that stat only field, and I only looked at the short game stat we have, which brings in around the green and putting blend. I used Bermuda only because I wanted to see guys that were used to the Bermuda who does well short game and putting, kind of a blended stat there, and a unique deal we have there, and it's super easy to see if you want to go check out the video. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm looking at grinders, guys that can get up and down, avoid bogeys, and then keep it off the tee. I don't care how long you hit it per se, just not get in trouble. Anything different for you, or is that sum it up?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it, at least I've talked about it a number of times over the last couple of years. And when you look at the past stats of the guys who have top 10 here, ball striking is big. Uh, Iron play is big. But for me, I want to find guys that keep it in play, find quite a bit of fairways, and can come into the greens from the fairway. I think that's really important to be able to control your ball flight, your distance, your spin coming into these greens, especially if it gets a little bit of wind. So I would much rather have like a Denny McCarthy coming in with a 7-iron from the fairway than I don't know, Fleetwood coming in with a 9-iron from the rough. Yeah, I think when we've talked about it in the past, it's 30 yards. Like you have to be 30 yards further in the rough to have the same proximity as somebody in the fairway. Right. But I think that's an average, number one. And I think here it's even more discrepant because of the wind, the way the greens react, that kind of thing. So I want to have guys that find fairways.
Yeah, to your point, you could be closer, but you still have the trouble potentially. So it doesn't mean you're any better off. You know, like a Brooks could be out there. And Brooks has been in contention plenty times and probably should have won last year with Ricky right there. But I agree with 100%. I think my mindset, and I'll get into it a little later, is just kind of it's one of those weeks you want to think outside the box, and you almost want to feel when your lineups are about to lock like you're going to throw up because you're like, who the hell am I playing this week? But that's probably a good thing, because if you're just on comfortable plays, Adon, our boy, he kind of mentioned it this morning. He goes, my notes say train wreck this week, and he may go a little lighter, which I'm going to go the opposite this week. And
I think four out of the last 5 winners, or 4 out of the last 10 winners, something like that, have been 200 to 1. Yeah.
Yep. And I know for a fact the last 3 years, the average 6 of 6, and that's with a T70, has been like 4.5%, 5%. Like it's been tough.
Yeah.
And now you only get 65 guys. It's going to be a great time. New to the course this week, we got 28 guys that have not played it since 2015. Not a huge number. I mean, decent amount though, but actually it was less than I thought. I thought there'd be a lot, but it seems to be a lot of repeat guys that like playing this. Like some guys don't like grinding this shit out, and that's why they're not here. And some guys are, and plus the timing of the schedule with Arnie's tournament coming up, Valspar, some other ones coming up. Someone's got to find a way to take a break. So I get that, but I'll note those in the deep dive, as I always do, the 28 that are playing for the first time since 2015. The range numbers, first time in a while, only 4 10K guys. We have 7 9K guys, so a little more 9K, 11 8K guys, 38 7K guys, and 78 6K guys. So just kind of breaking that down like we do every week. If you're new to the pod, thank you. We continue to grow. Our numbers over last year are almost double. So I appreciate that, especially. I hope tonight sets an all-time number with our boy back. But we do a Dirty Dozen here. Yes. Started this mid-year last year or so. So 4 tiers. We're going to give you a 9K or above. Every tier is going to have 3 picks. Our second tier is 7,600 to 8,900. Third tier is 7,500 or less. Fourth tier is a flop, a fade, and a sleeper. The flop is someone that you may like, may be great. You just don't think he's going to return the value this week particularly. And then the fade is someone you're fading because of course history, ownership, recency form, whatever. You just taking a stand and saying, I'm fading him. He'll probably do well, but I'm just taking a hard stand there. And then sleeper is your favorite pick, 6,900 or less that you didn't mention above. And then we get into a little roundtable wrap up, which normally I go longer, but tonight I'll bounce it back with Bucks. Then we'll talk a little overall strategy for DFS, no matter what, just kind of where we're at this week. Do a little bookmark section real quick, and then we'll get into betting. So, Bucks, I'll let you kick it off as a guest of honor. Give me your 3 favorite plays, 9K or above, for the Honda Classic.
All right. Yeah, I'll fly through these. I like Billy Horschel. I am not a big fan of his in general, but when you look at what he's good at, keeping it in play, decent putter, and when you look at his rolling model, he's been playing really well from his last 12, 8, 4 rounds. So I like Billy Ho. I obviously like Hovland. I don't think Hovland wins this week, obviously, coming off a win last week, but he's hitting the ball really, really well. All facets are firing. I think he's a cut maker. So I like Victor. And then the last guy up here, I'll go a little higher, is Gary Woodland. Of all of those guys, I like his game for this golf course. He can find a lot of fairways. He has a penetrating ball flight, just like his game. As long as he's hitting a fair number of greens. He is not very good around the greens, but I'm hoping he can hit more greens this week than the average player.
Who was that? Who's your last one? I missed
Gary Woodland.
Yeah, Woodland. Okay. So I kind of trying to project a little bit on where I think some of the ownership will be, and obviously we're very early in the week. I hadn't listened to a single pod yet, but I'm going to assume that most people are going to laugh at Tommy Fleetwood being the highest price at 11.6.
You don't need to assume. Everybody laughed at Tommy Fleetwood being that price,
which is going to play out one or two ways in my mind. One is everybody's going to laugh and then go, well, I'll take that because no one else is going to be on it. Or everybody's just going to keep laughing and say, I'll let someone else try it and I'll be all over it. If he's going to show up 10, 12, 14%, first of all, I get to meet him this week. So I won his auction. His caddy was doing the auction. Let me back up. His caddy had a friend who's a caddy over on that Euro Tour deal, who I've got to know now very well. And his son's autistic. Obviously, that's close to my heart. And they were raising money to help purchase a help dog, which I know very closely. My puppy that we have is very close to Madden. And I just happened to see it because I follow Tommy and I happen to follow his caddy for whatever reason. Just because, in our industry, I try to follow as many guys as I can. And I was like, I'll bid on it. And so I bid on it. I happened to win it. And his caddy, Tommy's caddy, sent the bag to OG because we're going to be there. Because we were trying to figure it out. And I said, are you going to the Honda? He goes, yeah, we're going to play the Honda. So I'll be there. And he said, that's perfect. Because he was wanting Tommy to autograph it a certain way. Or he goes, what do you want it made out to? I was like, hell, I don't know. I just wanted to help the guy out. And I'll back up and saying that guy has raised over $25,000 for autistic that had nothing to do with his son. He has a foundation that he's done for many other people. And this time he was trying to raise some money for his personal deal to help his son get the special dog, which I thought was amazing. So I was all about it. And so I'm going to get to meet Tommy, his caddy, with the bag, all that. I got a couple things in the works there. So it's a sentimental deal for me. He will be in one of my, if I do 3 lineups, there's not a doubt, but taking that aside, it's going to be an ownership deal. If everybody's just going to kind of laugh it off, I don't mind taking it. I mean, he's number one in my model, and you know how I do my model. It's blind. He happened to pop out number one. He's only played there once. He got a 4th. I remember that year. He got T18 at the WGC last week. Struggled early, but then kind of came back, so I don't mind it. That was a long story there, but I thought it meant value because of the week, so I want to go there. Next is Sung Jae. I'm going to go right back there, 9,300.
He was my 4th.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Sung Jae. I'm going to play him every single week until he wins.
Yeah, he's actually on my betting card as a potential down low, but 9,300, I'll take the chance that he's a cut-making machine. He doesn't get in trouble a lot. He's one, like you said, with Woodland. He's not the greatest around the green, but it's a little bit of put a star by it because he hits a lot of fucking greens that, I forgot it's not E9, sorry. He doesn't have to get up and down a lot because he hits a ton of greens. So everything else he's great in my model. But the around the green, a little suspect, but he played here last year. He made the cut. It was his first time ever seeing the bear trap. He gets a T51, and we know last year to this year, he's a totally different guy. He was brand new on the tour a year ago. I'll take a chance there. I don't know if he's going to be popular or not, but I like him. And then last, just because I'm not sure where people are going to come in, it's Hovland. He's number 3 in the stat model. Decent everywhere else. If he's going to be chalky and everybody starts hyping him up, I won't play him just because I can drop down to a burger or something like that, or Poston or something. But if he's not, and I'll see Wednesday, I'm going to be out there all day Wednesday. I'm going to kind of watch him, but he's a ball striking machine. He's number 1 in my bogey avoidance. He's number 1 in my tee to green. He's number 1 in ball striking. He's number 5 in fairways hit. So all the key things to me, he's pretty good in. And so I think he's going to be there, but I'm not going to eat a 20, 25% of anybody this week. It's just too crazy that I don't want to do that. But those are my 3. I'll go quickly and kick off the next section because these three are pretty much. We're going to start getting on the Team Gup deal. This feels like John Deere of 2018 again, but 7,600 to 8,900. Neiman is criminally underpriced and undervalued in the betting market for this field.
Neiman, Varner, and who else?
Binion, but it was really close. It was really close to another guy, and I'll get to him in a second. But
Berger.
Yes, Berger was the next one. But I think Berger's going to be talked up and chalked, so I went.
Based on these stats, he should be.
Binion wound up being my number 2 ranked guy in the field. Putting isn't as big of a variance this week. He actually, I don't even know if you say it's a better putting split because none of his putting splits are great, but Bermuda is better.
Don't ever mention Binion and putting.
Yeah, he is. So when I ran that special blend model, I told you on the short game with Bermuda, he was my number 1 player in the field because his around the green is excellent, but his Bermuda putting is his best choice as of now. He's got a T5 here and a T36. I'm all over Binion. So it's Neiman, Varner. You can mark those down. Everybody knows 2 of my guys in one of my lineups is all day. And then Binion. Who are your 3?
Neiman, Varner, Berger. And Berger is a guy that he's just in the range where he fits. I'm not typically a Berger fan because I think he's volatile, but he's been playing really well lately. And so it's hard to ignore.
Hometown as well. He lives there.
Yes.
Coming off the injury, he's got confidence. We got one of our guys that has some inside ties there pretty closely, and he's in the right frame of mind. He got a T9 at Wade. He was right there. It was. I literally had Berger typed, and I was like, I wonder if he's gonna get popular. So I went on, but I'm right there with you.
If he keeps in play, he's gonna.
Oh, you're right there. Yeah.
T10 for sure.
He got a second, in 2015. He's right there. He missed a cut just as easy. Like you nailed it. He can miss a cut just as easy as top 5, but he could be worth it.
Which is hard for his price, but yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how he's going to be talked up this week, and we'll know that by Wednesday. 7,500 or less. Who are you looking at down there?
Dude, I love this range. Love it. Like 7,500 to 69-ish. So I'm going to start out with Mav McNeely. I do like him. Been playing really well over the last few months. Like just solid, not like burning the top of the leaderboard, but playing really well. Matthew Naismith. I'll pull a gup here. Naismith.
That's my boy.
Okay, love him. And
he was my one and done last week.
My boy. Yeah, he was mine too. I didn't have one. And then my boy Denny McCarthy. I've been on this dude forever. He's a hometown guy. I've played with him a bunch around this area. Really, really like him. This is a course I think suits him. Much like a Billy Hurley. He's not long off the tee. Great short game. Really, really great putter. So I'm going to play him because I think from a value perspective at $7,100, I think he is. I don't know if there's anybody at that value, at that price range that has a better chance of making the cut, in my opinion.
No,
who do you like down here?
I agree 100%. I think it's Doc week. I called it last summer. I nailed it. I've been on him a few times since, but Doc is I'm going to pray. I'm going to, do one of those, Dear Jesus type of deals I think this week, and if I can find him Wednesday, I will, and I'll talk to him. I don't give a shit. I'll be like, hey, you won our community $500,000 in one weekend. So I thank you for that. But I hope that this type of setup where he doesn't have to think of getting to 20 under helps him because he is a grinded out dude and he is a roller coaster dude. Like I've lived that life with him he will go bogey, birdie, birdie, double, triple. But I mean, that's his round. And so to me, I'm like,
sounds like
that kind of fits. Yeah. It kind of fits him this week where he can have a bogey or a double and then 4 birdies and not really be freaked out about it because 8 under wins it. Right. And so I'll dig more into it. But I like Doc. I think he's a grinder guy. Clemson, I just like him this week. Kind of off the radar, Brian Stewart, hit or miss here, 2 top 27s and then 2 missed cuts. He got a top 23 at Genesis, which I like. Tough track again, grinded out type deal. He actually, for the stats I looked at, which is very isolated, was number one in my model at $6,700. He had 2 missed cuts before the Genesis, so I'm not like all in on Stewart, but I think in this type of tournament, again, which we kind of repeat, he's worth a look at 6,700, especially kind of fill in. I think he can make the cut very easily and just grind out. If he grinds out a top 30, that's money at $6,700. So I like Stewart. And then my last was the same as you, was Neesmith. He was my one and done last week. Finished top 6. I had a hell of a last. I think he birdied the last 5 or 6 or 4 or 5 to get into the top 5, and then finished top 6 by the time it was all over. Top 11 at AT&T, a top 30 at the Farmers. I just like the guy. I've been on him for a little while. 4th tier, I'll kick it off. As I mentioned, flop, fade, sleeper. My flop is going to be Rose. And initially, when I saw he was in the field, I thought, man, he's going to be a great play this week. He hasn't played it on my record since 2015. So, and he missed the cut then. And he's not coming in great form. A missed cut at the Farmers, a 56 at the Genesis, barely made the cut.
He was balling at the Genesis early and then fell apart.
Right. I just don't know where his game's at. And at 9,900, it's just a guy that I'm right now.
This is not the golf course to try to find your game at.
Right. And I don't know. He may come in. He hadn't played since the Genesis. So he's had, he took off, didn't play WGC, obviously. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know where his mindset is. I would like him a lot more at a Valspar, to be honest, than this. But I don't think many will play him, but maybe they do. They go 9,900 Rose. I can get Rose for that instead of Fleetwood for 11.6. I'm all in on Rose.
Probably,
yes. I'm hoping he gets hyped up. If he doesn't, then I may have to rethink it. Like I may just go, well, I'll take a chance. But I expect him to be hyped up, so he's going to be my flop. My favorite's going to be Shane Lowry. And the reason for that is, the price, 9,300. And if the win becomes a conversation, I think he's going to get talked up tremendously, deservingly so. But I'm willing to take that fade at 9,300. I mean, he's steady Eddie, does well. I think he could do well here, but he could easily miss a cut. And if the win starts getting talked up more and more and more, or 9,100, I'm sorry. I think he's never done better than a T49 here. So at that price, I don't know how much I'm in on it. So that's kind of my fade. And then my sleeper, if you can't know, this rounds out Team Gup. And had a 12th here last year, just short off the tee, grinds it out. I got to talk to him and his caddy last year here. It was pretty cool. But Ryan Armour at dead nut minimum $6,000. I will be playing Ryan Armour at $6,000. I promise you. Has horrendous form coming in, 3 missed cuts in a row. But this is this kind of $6,000. It's this kind of track. A T12 here last year.
GPP dart.
Yeah, especially a GPP dart, and I may be stupid and put him in a 3 lineup build, but
that
I like Armour at 6.
Throw him in with your Fleetwood lineup because that's trash, anyways.
What is? I'm glad to have you back. I guess you talk to me. What is your flop, fade, and sleeper?
Speaking of Fleetwood, my flop is Fleetwood, and only because of his price. I think he's a really great ball striker, but 11.6 is like. And maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it could definitely happen. But 11.6, you're needing top 3 or better for me to I have to have confidence that you can do that, and I don't with Fleetwood at that price. And so for me, especially with only 3 lines, I understand why you're playing them. Like having some emotional tie to it. Like I want to root for guys that I like, anyways. So I would probably play him if I was in your position, but
I would definitely have him in me, and I don't know if he'll make the 3 for me. He probably will just because of what you said, but I personally, if he's going to be under 10%, would have him in me, but I 100% agree with you. I wouldn't be overweight or nothing crazy on him.
He would be an ownership play if he's sub 8% because of his price or something, maybe, but either way, for me, I think Fleetwood's a flop. My fade is going to be Usti because who knows? I mean, it's going to be cold in the morning. You wake up with a back injury. Who knows? I'm never even at his price. Like, take the backside out of it. Like, whatever. He's not been playing great. And at his price, when you have, like you said, like a Rose right there, it's just really hard for me to click his name. So I don't think he should be priced that high. So he's going to be my fade, and then my deep diver. I mean, I want to play Siwoo after his little video shout out. So I like Siwoo, but it would be Cameron Percy. He's a guy that I like. He's just solid all around. And for $6,500, I think there are definitely worse plays out there. I think he makes the cut this week.
No, that's one that. He's right there, 44th. He's not bad on mine.
But if you look at my rolling stat model, he goes from like 100th, and then his last
he's 6th in bogey avoidance and ball striking in my model.
Yeah, so he goes like the last 50, 24, 12, 8, 4 rounds. He's never outside the top 35 in my model. So
no, it's a good. It wasn't even my rate. I put him in my sheet real quick to see where he was because it didn't. But yeah, I don't mind that at all. Roundup is just we can't fit everybody in, only doing 12. But I went to that style last year because obviously our boys Kimmy Kim and Tambo who will kill it tonight. Tambo, don't be stealing our shit.
Yeah, they got a special guest.
Yeah, don't be stealing our shit because we went early, and I know you're listening to this. I'm just joking. I'll buy you a drink tomorrow night. Those guys do a great job at, they have a great flow. They hit enough golfers, but don't, hit 60 like some pods. So my deal is like, all right, how do I be a little different? Because virtually most people listen to us are going to listen to them. And that's why I did that. But I want to bring up the round table because I don't want to leave off guys that, if you're not a member, I understand. Hopefully this is the week you jump in, but I don't want to just give you 12 guys. And you're like, well, shit, this isn't worth nothing. But I'll list 3 or 4. I have about 8 or 9. We'll go back and forth a little bit. Yeah, guys that really stuck out to me that I couldn't fit in. You already mentioned one was Berger, so I'll leave that alone. But Bud Cauley is a guy I will most likely play. Born in my hometown, great win player is Gooch. I love Gooch. I've been on him a few times. He's a great ball striker. He can certainly be volatile in his career, but I like him this week. I think I like his fortitude where he comes from. He's Oklahoma State boy, so think Hovland, think Wolf. He's played Karsten. He's played tough tracks. He's played in the wind his whole life. I know that because I grew up in the same town he did. So Cauley and Gooch really were the two that really stuck out to me. You already mentioned Woodland. The few other names I had was, I'm going to get your thoughts on Brooks at the end, but I had Cauley, Gooch, K.H. Lee, Harris English, Lucas Glover, and then I had 2 guys I want to ask you personal questions on outside of that. But those were the 5 that I kind of said, these are guys that I'm going to have my eyes on as we head towards Wednesday. So what about you?
I only have 2, and not necessarily that I'm going to play because I only have 3 lineups, but 2 I think a lot of people will at least take a peek at. First is Sam Burns. Started his whole grinding it out kind of started here. Yeah, I think last year, the year before.
2 years ago, whooped my ass on Sunday beating Tiger.
Yeah, so his kind of grinded out mentality started here. I think a lot of people will be on him, and I don't dislike the play, so I'm all about it. The other one that I wanted to mention, because I think a lot of people ask questions about it, is what to do with EVR. I like him. I think he's solid. He's solidly priced this week at $9K. I think if you skip everybody in the 10K or above range and kind of have a couple guys in that 9K and then a couple guys like a Denny, even Burns in the 7K range, Matt McNeely 7K range, then you can go and get like EVR, Berger, Sungjae, Victor, those kind of guys. So I like it.
So that was the one. I had 2 guys I was going to talk to you about. One was EVR. And then one was Brooks. So you already talked about EVR. First of all, are you a team show the ankles? I know you're team Cavs because we're going to destroy that competition Friday night. But where are you at on the whatever kind of pants he was wearing yesterday?
I mean, as you can tell, I'm a purist from an outfit perspective. I'm not a big fan of them, but that's because I'm a big guy and I can't wear them. So it's just a jealousy thing. But I'm 100% about showing off some ankles.
It was. I kind of because I caught it late, and so I was like, what is that ankle? Is that? I couldn't see it for like the first few glimpses. I was like, what is he? And I looked up. I was like, oh boy, I can't.
He's wearing joggers. JT, the Genesis wearing hoodies. I mean, what world are we living in?
Yeah, Rom trying to rock the Tiger, no collar, and he gets blasted.
Then you got Tony Finau out here trying to act like he's 78 years old. Playing a muni for $1 Nassau. with his button-down cardigan.
Because we really hadn't mentioned it. It's kind of like tigers in the room. We didn't talk about him, but where are we at on Brooks overall? What do we think? Like, is he going to be quiet this week and no one's going to be on him? Or everybody goes, fuck, Fleetwood's number one. I'll take Brooks all day. Or, I mean, what, he doesn't care about non-majors. Where are you at overall?
I mean, frankly, like when I looked at everything, like I didn't even didn't even think about it. Like, didn't even look at his name. And so anytime you have a week where he's not even like in legitimate consideration, I think it's dangerous because he's he's an elite player. And I think these are the types of events that get him jazzed up. Like if he thinks they're going to be carnage, I could for sure see him going out there posting 4 or 5 under one day and just smoking fools. He's an elite player. But that being said, who knows what his mindset's going to be? I would much rather play him than Fleetwood. And that's just my personal opinion.
So let me ask a question. You're much better at this than I, as far as, historic of golf and all that. If this is the exact same field and it's Rory, not Brooks, like how much of a favorite is Rory compared to where Brooks is and price and all that? Is it just miles ahead?
If Rory was playing instead of Brooks and priced under Fleetwood, Rory would be 90% this week. 90% owned.
It blows my mind because you see Brooks and I'm not a Brooks guy, that, very far from it, but I mean his ceiling is obviously as good as anybody, right? You can't argue the level he can get to.
But the whole difference is, and we had this, not we, but like everybody had this argument last year about player of the year. Rory had statistically one of the greatest years ever. And yes, he missed the cut at the British. He was 1 stroke off, but he had something like, and I don't know the exact numbers, but his top 10 stats were ridiculous. Missed cut stats were ridiculous. He was so consistent every single golf tournament. Like he was in contention almost the entire year, it seemed like. And then you have Brooks, who dominates when he plays well. Like he dominates. He's won a ton of majors already. Like he's that guy, but he's so up and down. He had, I don't know, 4 or 5 missed cuts or something like that. And so it was just a completely, both of them are in that player of the year category, but they're very different players in my opinion. And so that's just kind of what you're getting here. Like I could for sure see Brooks going out here and winning by 5, but I could also see him missing the cut and hitting 2 balls in the water on 16 Thursday and saying, fuck it, I'm done.
That's the hard part, right? You're like, does he care? Does he not?
Yeah. And in a GPP play, like I like that mentality because he does have that, like he can win by 5 this week. Yeah, he can, easy for sure. I'll have 1 Brooks lineup and the rest I'm starting underneath 10.
So weekly strategy I started doing when I went solo pod, so we won't go too much into it, but just in general, when you think about the Honda, the weather, the low scoring, you and I are both 1 to 3, 5 type lineup guys. This week, maybe a little more just because we're all going to be, or we may just hammer some showdown, who knows? But if you're a guy that's building 20 plus lineups, maybe it's dollar, maybe it's the quarter arcade, whatever, what advice or what is your strategy coming in to this type of week, which is the toughest course that any of these guys that we've seen so far to date? Very crazy outcomes, as you said, 200 to 1 have won it, 4 out of the last 7 years, something like that. Overall, what's your strategy coming into it if you're building more than just 2 or 3 lineups?
I don't think it changes too much for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like if I were playing 20 lineups this week, I'm still going to have, and the only difference this week is there are a lot of weeks where I'll have a core of 4 guys and I'll swap out 2 because I just fall in love with the same core. And that's worked historically for me. This week, I may have a core of 2 or 3 guys and swap more players just because we've seen that 200 to 1 players can come out and win this week. And it's not like you have such a top heavy field here. Like I think there are a lot of guys in play. They just have to find the right week to play really well. And so I'll probably have a core of two guys or so, 2 or 3 guys, and then build around that. And so let's just say it's Burger and M, and then or Burger M Denny or something. And I know Denny's a stretch, but he's $7,100. My man Ellie, our New York guy that we've hung out with a couple times, was asking me about him because he's not had a great track history here, and I get that. Right. But for $7,100, I may and again, I'm a GPP player, so if I lock him in an M and Burger, and then I have plenty of salary there to kind of work around. And so if I had 20, I may have let's say I have $8,000 left. I may have 10 that have a bunch of those 75 to 8,500 guys. And then I may have another 5 that I go superstars and scrubs and say, I'm going to play Brooks and then 2 65, 6,600 guys or something like that. And so my only difference this week compared to others is that my core might be 2 or 3 guys instead of 4.
Yeah. So I think, and we'll hit on this more as we get to Wednesday, but I do think you have 1 or 2 directions to go this week. One is you kind of spread out, but I think that's what most people will do because they're afraid of the big cuts, so many 6-6 low, blah, 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 blah. And so I think it may be advantageous to, I think you nailed it. I wrote this down. Obviously we don't talk at all. Well, we haven't talked, pod in forever, but I agree. I think it may be to your benefit to find the guys you feel the best about and get really tight on them, and maybe a little more exposure than you normally do on your core, quote unquote, and then spread out from there so that really you're not sweating the craziness. You're just sweating the core and go, well, if my core hits, something else is going to hit. Because I got so many one-offs and bullets here and 3 or 4 there. And if I can just get these 2 or 3 guys through, which, they may not, right? But shit, the odds of getting 6-6 through this week is so hard anyways that I would rather focus on a few guys and have to slam 40 and try to figure this shit out. Now, if you're building 100 or something like Tambo, obviously he'll talk about his strategy tonight, and by all means, listen to him on that. But if that 20, 30 type lineup, 10 to 20, that kind of thing, I would tighten the core up, but I would spread my bottom half, which that sounds terrible, a little more, but that's where I would be. I would say I'm all in on these guys, and maybe my all in used to be 35, 40%, and I go 55% on these guys. Yeah. And then if I normally, my bullets were 6 to 8 guys, I go 8 to 12 guys. And maybe that's how I build this week, and just say, hey, if I don't hit the core, then shit, it sucks anyways. And I'll get it back Sunday on Showdown, because we're going to be live, and we will absolutely slay round 4 Showdown this week. I promise you that. So don't save a little bankroll for that, because we'll be there every day, every night.
Showdown and live betting, if you have access to it. It's going to be huge.
Make sure you have it, because we will be live every day. We'll be there every day on the tournament. I'll get to that at the end. Bookmarks for the week real quick, and then we'll get to the betting segment. Matsu, really close. He's going to win soon. His putting stroke is as good as I've seen it, and obviously I watch as much Matsu as probably anybody. He's other than DJ, he's my next guy that I watch the most. He's close, and his ball striking is uncanny. He's number 1. He's the best ball striker, maybe behind Rory, but at time, even last week, he was better than Rory. But he's getting closer, and I wouldn't be surprised for him to make a run at a major this year, even before a regular tournament. But he's close. Rahm, same way. I was really impressed that he started shitty, which normally he checks out to an extent. But he fought back, went low, and hung in there. He couldn't pull it out at the end, but I was impressed. He had a few gut club poundings, which I'm all about. I've been there. I've done a little 8-iron in the pond before, and Bucks has fished it out for me, but he wasn't crazy with it. He was just passionate, which there's a difference in letting it take over your game and just being passionate. And so I'm all about Rahm. I think he's close as well. And then a guy I've mentioned at least once, if not twice, on the bookmarks is Answer. I continue to be impressed. Watched him a lot at the Valero last year. He lives here in San Antonio. I've seen him on my course a couple times in the off season. He just quietly, another top 10, top 12, grinds it out, always there. I know it was in his home. I mean, he was in Mexico this week, but go back and look, even since the President's Cup. I don't know if playing with Tiger took him to the next level, but he was already that good, or he wouldn't have been on the President's Cup. But he's quietly getting better and better and better. Almost, I kind of compare him to like a Max Homa type, right? Like I watched both of them last year at the Valero. I backed Max Homa with the donation deal, and he went absolutely crazy and we donated a lot of money because he went crazy, which I was proud to. But both those guys are like sneakily getting more and more confident in their game. So those are my bookmarks for the week. We will go to the betting strategy now, which is brought to you by a new sponsor, Monkey Knife Fight. If you haven't been on there, they're a new affiliate of ours. You can go sign up through our link at gupscorner.com/affiliates. You can sign up today and put your money where your mouth is. It's all prop betting stuff that we specialize in and talk about all the time. Tambo's is going to be all in on it. Here's the great thing is that you use the code GUP, you get 100% of your deposit up to $50 the first time you deposit. And this is major for us. And this is going to get you 2 times entries into the Wednesday night $1,000 entry, because that's how much this means to us. We're putting our money where our mouth is on this. We're not taking anything from them up front. We said, hey, our community is going to blow this away. I checked out the product. I loved it. Tambo was the one that pushed it to me. I said, I'm all in. What they do is what I do, and it's not DFS. So it's just like, we can all talk about this, so we can be on the same side, which is what I like, right? Because you're not playing against other guys per se, but and then you put $50 in, you get another $50, so you got $100 to start out. But whatever you put in up to $100 or up to $50, you get a 100% match or 100% match. So absolutely incredible offer by them. They're trying to grow their product, like no other. I'm sure other people have pushed it. I've seen it as well. If you haven't checked it out, hit gupscorner.com/affiliates, click the link, use the code GUP, deposit, check it out this week. We'll have some plays in there. They really do a good job at NBA and MLB. So I'm going to get with Preston, Dan, and D-Rock. Preston and Dan for NBA. Try to get them to throw a few of their plays in there, or picks, or potential ones they like each night. And then D-Rock, when MLB comes around, I'll have him feature it as well. So we believe in this product. Anything we get into, we believe in, which SuperDraft's been amazing. They're our lead sponsor. There's no doubt about it. And they're DFS, so like, DraftKings, but we play it. We all believe in it. We back it. We provide the content. We're not just trying to make money off it type of shit. That's the difference between us and some of the others, but go check that out. And because it's more around the betting side, that they're a betting sponsor for the time being. We have 4 ranges again. We're going to give 2 to 3 picks in each range. We're going to rapid fire this because a lot of these guys are going to be repeats, and we don't want you guys just a little longer because we had to get bucks on, which is well worth it. 50 to 1 or less. My 2 guys at that odds that I would legitimately bet is Benny On and Sung J M right now. Anybody for you, Bucks?
I got M and Horschel.
Let me ask you a question about Horschel. Do you think he gets popular or no by Wednesday?
No.
So I will say, if he doesn't, I like Horschel as well. He was very, very high in my model. I just wondered if he was going to be, especially the good finish last week. He is 8th in my model. So I'm interested to see where we're at Wednesday night with him. But I do like him. Next range is 50 to 1 to 80 to 1.
I love this range.
Yeah, I love it too. I couldn't narrow it down. I almost bled a little over to the next range, but I like Neiman, Palmer, Varner, and Colley. What about you?
I mean, I wish I had your book, man. I got Neiman at 50.
It's 50 to 80.
Oh, then yeah, I like Neiman.
Yep. Yeah, there you go.
Neiman and what did I have in this range? Neiman. Oh, I have both Neiman and Varner. If I had to pick another one, I don't know. I kind of want to throw money on Wolf.
Wolf seems like I worry because he gets a
high
little
upside
erratic.
play.
High upside, could miss the cut, but
very much could finish dead last.
Yeah, the number is great value. I agree with you.
I will put money on Wolf.
I'm
the ticket.
Yeah, I'm contemplating that as well.
All right, now we're in 80.
Yeah, Poston was another one I liked. 80. Neesmith was the first one I liked, and Varner was crossover there. But
this is the range I like. Because I got Denny, Patrick Rogers, Neesmith, Mavic McNeely all in this range that I'm putting money on.
Yeah, I like all those. I'll be a little more.
I'm going to have like 12 bets just because of this pod.
Well, I like the bet. I mean, and I didn't mention the betting change because we're going to be at the Honda. It's because I analyzed some stuff last night and I was like, man, I don't remember what it was, 22 units at risk. I lost like 4 total or 4.5 on matchups, which was at one point it looked like I was going to lose like 18. So I was fine with that, but I was like, I would much rather put 8 to 10 guys and like double my risk on them to where the reward pays off than sit here and grind out matchups every day, because I have Showdown to do that. I'm still going to, if I find, but instead of doing 3 or 4 matchups a day, I'm going to find the 1 or 2 where I'm like, I love this play and play it. And maybe I do a 2-star, a 3-star every once in a while, because normally it's a 1-star. And I focus more on the top 5, like you talked about. I think it's the way to go with golf. We'll see, and I've been successful with golf for 3 years, so I don't want to change my whole strategy just because I'm off to my fall swing was the worst golf I've had, but this year's been decent up and down. But I agree with you 100%. 120 to 1 dark horses. Pretty easy for me. Redmond, auto bet. Armour, auto bet. And the other 2 I'm looking at is Stewart or KH Lee. And when I say auto bet, if you're new, I put in my breakdown of my betting there. It's called FOMO. There are guys I will bet no matter what. I don't know if they'll make the card, but Redmond and Armour have already been bet for me. So they're going to be a FOMO, which means if they win, I'll talk about it, but I won't put it on my record because I'm not going to not bet them. But I did this one week. It was Neiman's first win. I bet him because I bet him every week, but he wasn't on my card. People talk shit about me, which those people are clowns. But I was like, all right, I'm just going to start doing the FOMO section, which like Mayo does. And I love it. And I was like, I'll just do that. I'm not copying him, but if I'm going to make a bet, but it doesn't count towards my record, I'm such an accountability guy that I never wanted to do that. But after that week, guys were like, well, I'd like to know if you're on them, even if it's not towards your record. And I was like, okay, I'll start doing that. So I've done it. Redmond and Armour are going to be bets for me. And Armour's like 300 to 1 and Redmond's 175. So they may just be FOMOs, but that's where I'm at. Is there any dark horses you love?
No, only because my book doesn't have them available right now. I got like 5 guys over 100. So I don't have any bets down there.
Yep, they may open up later. One and done strategy. Bucks, get your one and done in.
That's my strategy, is getting it in. So I'm going either Neiman or M. Either one of those 2. I got to look to see.
Yeah, depending on the ownership percentage, if Fleetwood's going to go on their own, I think he's a potential best guy play. On and M are right there, like you said. Neiman, Varner. If you're trying to win the skins this week, I actually think, this is a great week. As we said many times, 200 to 1's won this 4 or 5 times in the last decade. So guys like Neesmith, Armour, KH Lee, McCarthy, I think you said. Those guys that just don't stick out are great guys to try to be the one guy. I probably wouldn't take Varner this week because just being how close he is to the community and everything, I'm going to guess he'll probably be picked more than once, but doesn't mean he won't be a great payoff because he's not going to be picked too many times at 80 to 1. But I agree with you there. I had Scott 2 weeks ago, I think. Last week I had Neesmith who got 6, and I think my main one was, it may have been Matsu. So just finished top 10, nothing crazy, but I'm so far back. I got a lot to make up. Bucks, before I wrap it up and we get out of here, any final thoughts for you on the return pod? I can't wait to see you Thursday. I appreciate everything. Let us know what's on your final thoughts.
Yeah, I think this break that I have had from Guff's Corner, while I still talk to you guys every week, has allowed me to understand how good of a group of guys that not only you guys are, but the entire DFS community is. As a whole, like it doesn't matter where you go or whether you're in high school, college, at work, on Twitter, like you're always going to have a group of people who maybe are trolls or haters or just like those guys that like, that's how they have fun and that's fine. But taking a step away and not being so involved in the community on a weekly basis or a daily basis has really given me a much higher appreciation for how tight knit the overall community is. I mean, and this week is the best example. I mean, Joe and Ryan have taken the first step in having this unified golf community event supporting the First Tee, which is one of the PGA Tour's largest partners. And this is a really great opportunity for us and the entire DFS community to have a partner in them. And so obviously PGA Tour, DK have started their partnership this year. Having us as the DFS golf community solidify ourselves as a charitable group, not just a bunch of degenerates, is going to be a really important step for us to have future events, live finals, that kind of thing. And so, yes, this week is all about having a great time, being degenerates, letting loose, like enjoying life in general. But the bigger picture item is really how we can not only help give back to the First Tee and those kids, but also what name we want to put out there for the PGA Tour and what name we want to represent from the DFS community. And so I think it's going to be an awesome week. And for me, I hope everybody just has that same perspective that this week, while it is about us and having fun, is larger than us. There's a lot of things out there, a lot of kids out there that really are going to benefit from the DFS Open and the charitable work that Ryan and Joe and everybody that's contributed, including yourself, is putting out there. So it's going to be an awesome week. There's no way that I have a poor time at the Honda, and I wish I was heading down there tomorrow with everybody. So, but Thursday will come soon enough.
No, very, very well said. And I'll get to my part in a second. Obviously, it's Honda week. I've been asked a lot, and I've seen a lot of questions in the Slack about schedule. Content, as far as written, will be the exact same. Everything should be out either on time or actually a little earlier this week, depending on how things are going. The E9 will most likely be earlier Wednesday, just because we have a dinner gathering that night. We're going to go to the course Wednesday. Got a few things set up there. Kind of cut it off, maybe 1 or 2-ish. Get back to the house, clean up, and then research, do our final thoughts, do all the stuff that I do. And then I'm sure Tambo will be involved as far as wrapping up stuff. We'll do the E9 because by then we'll have all the information we need, and then call it a night because we'll have, we have things obligated to that late evening, but then we'll be up. Trust me, we shut down Jupiter last year almost every night, so there won't be any going to bed early. We'll be in the Slack. We may be periscoping, but community only type stuff. But for all intents and purposes, the schedule will be the same. The showstoppers, sometimes they get a little weary with me depending on how the day goes and what all is going on. And there's so much. I know Friday night it will be out late at the the DFS Open kind of kickoff party that evening. I plan to still get everything out. I'm playing, if nothing else, I'll get Bucks and Tambo around me and I'll just go live. I'm bringing my equipment. We got backup equipment. We got Tambo's bringing equipment. JB's bringing like half a studio. So we can go live on YouTube for the members only at any time we want. So be on the lookout of that, because you never know with us. We'll just fire it up. We're more prepared than we've ever been. So you will get more hands-on content as a member than you've got at any other tournament ever from Gups Corner. So don't worry about that. Anybody that's asking. As I mentioned, we're giving away $1,000 on Wednesday on probably the E9, more than likely, or maybe a little later. We're going to give away $250 to one winner for DFS money, whether it's DK, FanDuel, whatever you want to spend it on. A full site all access membership, which is retail $299 or whatever. This week, obviously, you get 30% off. If you're a current member, we will comp that and get you squared away that way. We have a $250 Gups Corner prize pack we're giving away, which includes a custom HV3 putter cover, HV3 shirt, Gups Corner shirt. We got Wyndham gear. We got waste management gear. We got several tournaments, putting it all together, one big prize pack. So that's 3 prizes. And then there'll be 5 other winners that'll get $50 DFS money. So in general, 8 people will win Wednesday night. How do you win? I started last week. There's a tweet that's pinned on Gups Corner handle on Twitter. If you retweet it, follow it, it's all on there. That was a way to get in. It's our tools tweet. We're really trying to promote our PGA Research Center, our big update, what we've done. That gets you 2 entries. That's the most entries you can get in from one thing. That's the easiest thing to do. You literally retweet it, and then you put your favorite golfer in PGA right now. That's all you have to do. Super simple, but we're trying to build awareness to it and just say, hey, much respect for everybody else in the community, but we feel we have a great product that no one else offers what we do on that realm, and we want people to check it out. So that helps us. As always, review this pod on iTunes. That gets you an entry. If you've already done it, you're still in. I pull all this data all the time. I just keep it in one big database. So if you've done any of these, you're in. So don't worry about it. I know people sometimes DM me and say, I already did Monkey Draft. I already did Super Draft or whatever. If you've deposited in Super Draft with the code GUP, you get an entry. So if you've already done it, you got one. If you haven't, do it today. You get an entry. Monkey Knife-Eye, I told you earlier, do that deposit, you get an entry. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Really trying to grow our YouTube presence. We're up to almost 2,000 people there. That's easy. It's click of a button, super easy to do. Go ahead and do Facebook, Instagram, and all that. YouTube really helped. That's our 2 major platforms is Twitter and Instagram. But Twitter and YouTube, I'm sorry. But Twitch, Facebook, all that helps. Please do that. I will put a tweet together tonight talking about this whole giveaway. Retweet that tweet with your Honda winner, and that gets you an entry as well. And then finally, because we're trying to raise a lot of money for our boy HV3, if you buy a shirt or you've already bought a shirt, the HV3 shirt from the GS store, all the money goes to that foundation. That gets you an entry. So those are your ways to get in. We're giving away $1,000 on Wednesday. Go do all those. Spread the word. Tell your friends, hey, and I'm not even going to check to see if you're a member or not. This isn't a deal about being a member, not being a member. Obviously, we hope you are a member or it gets people to be members. But this is just about bringing awareness to the community, as Buck said, to the industry, and then to some of these foundations we're getting along. And Buck's mentioned it and did a great job. So I'm not going to talk too long in the final thoughts, but sent a long email to the team last night, just about what this week means to me, to the brand, to the industry. I'm excited about it. And Bucks, would easily say this. And he's been a right-hand ear for me on many times, as well as JB or Tambo, that it's very hard to ignore the hate, the haters, the trolls. Tambo had a tweet the other day. He tweeted about some of the top NBA players talking about, if you got haters, that only means that you're doing something right. And I hear that all the time. And it's still, there's a pride factor that gets into you. And it definitely, even last night I went borderline on somewhere where I didn't want to go back again with a former member of Gups Corner. And I finally just said my piece to him. I sent him a text this morning and I said, hey man, I'm done. Here's my peace offering. I don't know what I did to you. I can't really care because you don't really care, but whatever you need from me, let me know. If you want an apology, I'll give you an apology for whatever reason, but I made a business decision. I never talk bad about any of the prior people and never have. I've put little jabs in because I get jabbed at all the time. And there's a group, a little circle jerk group of about 10 to 12 guys, whatever. They can do what they want to do. And I just have to remind myself, and it takes me daily to do this. So I'm just saying that because it is hard. As strong as I am, as great as a life and a career and a background as I have, no one likes to hear hate or talked about or, all that kind of stuff. And it's very, very, very hard to just press forward and keep doing that. And so if you're a person in life that's sitting there and grinding on that, whether it be your real job, your career, your wife, your kid, whatever it is, know you're not the only person that has those battles day in and day out. It's not easy. And I can't be hypocritical and tell my team to focus on the good, focus on this week and how much good this week's going to be, and brand awareness and community awareness. And I'm just as much about growing DFS, PGA, industry golf, and meeting Mayo and all these guys as I am about Gup's Corner. And that's for me, that's true. I mean, I can say that, and I believe in that. I obviously want Gup's Corner to grow. Moose is a great friend of mine. Bucks and I hung out with him for a whole weekend. He has a product similar to ours. I wish him as much success as us. There's enough mouths in the room to feed that I don't have to compete with him. I just want to grow the industry so we both succeed, because he's a good friend of mine. He's a great golfer. He's a great addition to the industry, as is Mayo, as is Feinberg, as is Rick. Any of those guys, are they quote unquote competitors? To an extent, but we're all in the same bucket here. We're all just trying to grow the industry and make it better. And we all have our different torques on it. And so that, that's where I try to step in and go, this is us. I've gotten a lot better. And I think most people say that because obviously I still have those one or two moments where I really I step out, and I'm learning day by day that I have too many eyes. I mean, these guys have more time on their hands than I could dream of, but anything I say gets brought to light. So I just keep focusing on us, me, Gup's Corner. That's what I'm about. And at the end of the day, karma's a bitch to most, but also the flip side of that is, good things happen to good people. And the story of, and this one I leave it on because it's a good note, but Steve Story reached out to me, especially after I made the announcement. Steve's going to be there this week about ALS not being able to join us. If you saw the tweet tonight, just a little bit behind it, and try not to lose it here. But so the reason why Steve was doing that is because obviously ALS warrior Kevin, if you don't know his real name, can't play golf anymore, but he can putt. And so he was going to be one of our putters on our team this week. He's going to be in the putting contest. He's going to roll around with us. Him and Mrs. Gup roll around, his wife, he's a great time. He's going to putt. So Steve was having this custom putter made just for him for this week. And then obviously the doc canceled him being able to come, which was emotional on more fronts than you can think of for the community. And these clowns that fucking talk about my record and PGA. First of all, go look at my 4-year record. It speaks for itself. All right. Until I'm losing over that whole stretch, I don't really care, because it's long-term of betting, as Buck said, it's long-term with DFS. I guarantee I'm one of the few that's up lifetime in DFS. That's my own money, douchebag. I know you're listening because that's all you do. But even after the stake share guys I've had, which I've openly admitted I've had, I'm still up long time. But that all doesn't matter. I mean, this is, I told Rachel about, I told her about the Steve Story incident and many other examples. That's what this community was built about, was that right there. It was never about, when I first talked to Bucks and JB and Tambo, it was never built about making money. I never talked about profit or any of that. I talked about building a place where people could feel like family and come together. If we win together, that's great. We lose together, that's great. But give someone something different than Twitter, the Twitter world. And that's what it is. And when you hear stories like what Steve did, Bucks does it all the time. He's very humble, never talks about all his giving, because he's not a bragger about I gave this and look at me and look at that. He gives more money than you can think of, and as well as I do. And well, yeah, I'll look. I mean, he's my spoon buddy. That's why he was number one tonight. But that's what this thing's about, and people know that. They know it's genuine. And yes, I messed up. Yes, I fucked up. Yes, I've said stuff I shouldn't have, and I step out of line. And people call me out on it and they make fun of me of it. That's fine. I'm human. Everybody makes mistakes, but my core values and what I'm genuine on is true. And those guys know it. That's why they keep trying to attack, and that's fine. I don't care. I'm going to have so much fun this week. I hope some of them show up. Come on down to Honda. I'll buy you a drink face to face and let you ask me any question you'd like to ask me. Because you'll realize that I'm just me. I'm just a normal guy, and I get passionate. I'm more passionate than I should be, but this community was built on the foundation that it is right now. And things like that was done this week, that's what it's all about. Partnering with people like HV3, who's the most humble guy I've ever met on tour, that's what it's all about. And this week is going to be an epic week for not only us, but the entire industry. And I can't wait for it. being with guys that mean more to me than I've never had a brother per se. I had a cousin that's super, super close to me, but in this industry, when Bucks left, it was the hardest thing ever. But he's, as he mentioned, he's not lying. He stayed close to me the whole time. I could talk to him and reach out to him anytime. Tambo and I had shared tears. I'll just tell you, in Waste Management, I had a very deep conversation one night. JB is a brother. I can't wait to meet Ryan Stevens, who, all these guys are true friends of mine. And then the industry guys, I think they're all great guys, and I can't wait to meet them all. And I think it's going to be a great weekend. I hope you guys are going to be down there with us. We will be live early Wednesday night. I will let you know the exact time. Stay tuned. I will retweet. I'll put the tweet out tonight that you guys can start firing away on. Someone is going to win $1,000 worth of stuff on Wednesday night. I can't wait to see you Thursday, Bucks. For JB behind the mic, the entire Gups Corner crew, we will see you at the Honda in a few days. Have a great week and good night.
SmashFactor.